Trump threatens to shut Mexico border following migration surge. President Donald Trump has said he is likely to close the U.S. border if Mexico does not do more to stop migrants reaching the United States. The closure would disrupt border crossings, costing billions of dollars in trade. Mr. Trump's threat follows a surge in migrants traveling through Mexico to seek asylum in the U.S. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said he would not be drawn into confrontation on the issue. Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard said in a tweet that Mexico was a great neighbor to the U.S. and would not act on the basis of threats. Mr. Trump told reporters on Friday, "There's a very good likelihood that I'll be closing the border next week, and that will be just fine with me." He said it was very easy for Mexico to stop people from coming up, but they don't choose to do it. The president later wrote a series of tweets which concluded that because the U.S. lose so much money with them, especially when you add in drug trafficking etc., that the border closing would be a good thing. President López Obrador said on Thursday that the issue of migration was not up to us Mexicans. He said it was a problem stemming from Central American countries rather than Mexico. The Mexican is no longer seeking work in the United States. The majority of migrants are inhabitants of our fellow Central American countries, he said. Following President Trump's tweets on Friday, Mr. López Obrador said to a crowd of supporters, "I want to make it clear that we are not going to fight with the United States government. Peace and love." He referred to migration as a human right and said, "People in Central America don't have any options, so they set out looking for a way to earn a living." Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen said that Border Patrol staff have been overwhelmed by a huge increase in asylum seekers fleeing violence in El Salvador, Honduras and Guatemala. Department of Homeland Security (DHS) officials said that border apprehensions in March are expected to total 100,000, the highest in a decade. Over 1,000 unaccompanied children are among those currently in custody. Ms. Nielsen warned Congress that the U.S. government faces a system-wide meltdown as it tries to care for the 6,600 immigrant families currently in custody. It is unclear how closing entry ports might reduce the number of migrants entering the country, as many arrive at unofficial points of entry and can legally request help the moment they step on U.S. soil. The DHS has moved 750 border staff from entry ports to help process asylum seekers arriving between official crossing points. Ms. Nielsen warned Americans that they may feel effects from this emergency. Lack of staffing is already having an impact. Traffic jams at the crossing between Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, Texas were longer than usual on Friday, with one driver claiming she had been stuck for 3 hours, Reuters reported. A border closure could have a significant financial impact, disrupting tourism and trade between the U.S. and Mexico, which reached a total of $612 billion, £469 billion, last year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Kurt Honold, head of business group CCE in Tijuana, Mexico, said there could be losses worth billions of dollars. "It's obvious he's not measuring what he says," Mr. Honold added. Mr. Trump's 2015 presidential bid was based on a crackdown on illegal immigration, blaming Mexico on bringing drugs, bringing crime, they're rapists. His famous promise to build a wall so far remains unfulfilled as Congress refused to fund it. However, the president has declared a national emergency in order to direct funds away from the military and towards the wall. Since his election in 2016, Mr. Trump has made repeated threats to close the U.S. border with Mexico. On Thursday, Mr. Trump told a crowd of supporters at a rally in Michigan that the U.S. would close the damn border. On Friday, Mr. López Obrador told reporters, "All this talk of migrant caravans and such is related to politics and the U.S. election campaign. That's why I'm not going to get into it."